hello to everyone listening out there to the very first episode of the End of the Internet podcast. I'm your host, Gonzalo, and if you found us, well, congratulations, you've reached the end of the internet. I've thought about starting a podcast for a couple of years now and floated the idea to my friend and co-host Marcus about it, and he had similar ideas, so we decided to just start and see where this takes us. We'll be having conversations about things that we love and things that we hate and why we love and or hate these particular things. Today, Marcus and I will be discussing moments in popular culture that really scared the shit out of us. Things like movies, television shows, music videos, and video games, just stuff that really kind of got under our skin. Things that we could not shake for days, 2 weeks, 2 years at a time. And seeing as it's the end of October, we're really close to Halloween, we thought no better time to talk about this stuff. And I got to learn some stuff about my friend that I never knew. This first episode is a bit long, but seeing as it is our first, I felt it best to treat it as like a double-sized debut. I'm going to try and leave in as much as possible mistakes, stutters, ums, ands, long awkward pauses, just growing pains, so that others might be able to listen to that and maybe learn from our mistakes, and also to laugh at or with us. As I said, it's kind of long, but I do hope you stay until the end. I hope you're entertained. We had a lot of fun recording this episode, and we do look forward to doing more in the future. So without further delay, here is our conversation on what pop culture frightened us as children and things that still kind of fuck with us today. I really hope you enjoy the show, and thanks for listening, guys. Okay, round two. Today we're talking about moments in film watching, TV shows, books, comics, whatever, that gave us an honest scare, where we had trouble sleeping or just hung around with you for a few days. The first example that I always cite is the first time I watched Event Horizon. I saw it on HBO one night around 9:30, 10. Rated R science fiction film directed by Paul W.S. Anderson. He did Mortal Kombat, the Resident Evil terrible series of movies. He did the first AVP. Anyway, he did Event Horizon after Mortal Kombat and said that he wanted to do something hard R, scary. And the movie, for people who don't know, the Event Horizon is a ship that is supposed to have technology that allows it to travel faster than light by basically opening up a tear in the fabric of space and reality. And the ship and those 2 points in space exist simultaneously. That's how it works. But what they do is end up losing the ship to a dimension of utter chaos, which is basically like hell. And there's a scene in the movie where the crew that shows up to retrieve the Event Horizon are able to decipher the last video log of the original crew, and it's just the most disgusting, frantic orgy of blood and rape that I had ever seen on like a mainstream movie. And it really fucked me up. And then the ship slowly shows visions of, horror to the crew, and they slowly go crazy and they slowly kill themselves in various different ways. And it just stayed with me so much that I took a shower that night and I could not close my eyes in the shower. So like, Jesus, shampoo got into my eyes and everything was burning.
Wow.
It was really, really bad. That's the one that stands out because it caused me bodily harm. And I still, to this day, I love Event Horizon. I watch it at least 3 times a year, probably. I'll find myself watching it.
Well, let's go ahead and let's just get this out the way. I've never seen Event Horizon.
Really?
I've always wanted to.
We used to be roommates, and I don't know how this never happened.
I don't know how this happened, but now I want to see it even more. But I'm afraid that it's not going to live up to.
Oh, it's not. It's
but
not.
A lot of the times where I've seen movies that have really shook me or scared me, they're really hard to pinpoint. There was one when I was a kid. I believe I've actually located it on IMDb. But there was a made-for-TV movie called The Haunted or The Haunting. It was, I don't know if it was based on a true story, loosely based on a true story or anything like that. But I was young, at least 10 or 11. I want to say it was on Fox because that's the one thing that I kind of remember. And it was, a typical, like, family moves into a house and everything goes, great for a couple of days. And then weird things start happening until, of course, a full-fledged haunting situation, a poltergeist, ghost thing. I don't know how to explain exactly why I was terrified. If I were to really think about the things that scared the hell out of me the most, that show scared the hell out of me the most because I think if I'm not mistaken, as memory serves correctly, I want to say, and I'm going to use a very, very strong word, I was traumatized for about a week to the same thing you're saying about not being able to close my eyes in certain situations. I couldn't go to the restroom because the way our house was, we had this house and the restroom had, a big window. And when you would look out the window, it always seemed like there was a dead tree out the window. So when you would enter the restroom at the nighttime, if the moon was at a certain, spot in the sky, the beam of light would make this dead tree look even scarier. So that always terrified me. I remember I got to a point where I would have to run into the restroom, turn the light on real quick, pee really fast, and then leave because I was afraid something was going to pull me out of the window because of this stupid-ass movie. I almost want to see this movie again to see how bad it is because I'm sure it's a horrible movie. I wonder what it is.
If it was like a made-for-TV or maybe was it like a movie that they showed on TV?
I know for a fact it was a made-for-TV.
It was made-for-TV?
Okay. Yeah. Again, if this is what I came across, if this is the movie, then I need to look at it more. But I think the thing that terrified me the most that really, really screwed me up was that, usually in these kind of stories, the end of it is like, oh, we left the house. Like Amityville Horror, they leave the house.
Yeah.
Like just don't go in that house. And the thing that scared me is as the movie was progressing, they leave. Like they book it. They get their family. I think they have like 2 kids with them. They leave and they wind up like they go camping, I think. Like, 'cause I guess they didn't really have a whole lot of money or something. And the poltergeist follows them. There was no leaving the house and getting rid of the monster. It followed them. Mm-hmm. So then they bring in an exorcist. The exorcist comes in. They do their little thing, and then they still move. Like the ghost is apparently exorcised, and they still move. And then they move to a new house, and the movie ends with them moving into a new house, and everything's fine. And then as she's going down to do laundry in the basement, the entity returns, closes the door, and pushes her down the stairs. Oh, and the movie ends that way. It's like, it's not over. This thing followed her to a new house. And it attached itself. Yeah. And that scared me so much that I'm crippled with fear for, I want to say at least 2 weeks. And I that's all I can remember. Those things that I just shared with you are the things that I remember the most. And I'm sure there are more, but I'm going to go ahead and pass the baton back to you.
Okay, well,
you top that.
I can't top that. I would say a little, like, something that's harder for me to pinpoint, but Unsolved Mysteries was an old 80s show that was just about people that would just turn up missing or crime or any...
intro.
The music. That was the thing that really stayed with me and it really scared me. And I don't know why. Like, it struck the right musical chord in my brain. It set the perfect mood. I'm sure that they hunted and searched for the right tone for that show to creep people out. And Robert Stack's voice really helped with the ambiance of that show.
Yeah.
But yeah, that music just always fucked me up. As a little kid, I couldn't remember, or I couldn't, I guess, figure out why. And even now, when I hear it, there's still a bit of a reaction, a little like knee jerk, like
absolutely,
as if somebody's touching my neck.
The intro to that show always scared me, and I think, and I can't remember timeline wise how old I was. I know I was young, but that intro scared the hell out of me, and it wasn't until I was a grown ass man after, like, I think a friend of mine let me borrow the box set of Unsolved Mysteries. And I started watching. I was like, "Oh, this is just a missing persons show with every once in a while maybe UFO sightings or a ghost story."
Yeah, it's hardly ever a ghost story. It's always just like, and they were never seen again. But it's like, update, oh, they were found.
Yeah,
It's
update, we found the body, update, yeah.
And it was rarely that, like, when I saw the updates, it was rarely, like, found a body. It was like, oh, they turned up somewhere else, and then, the end.
Yes, Unsolved Mysteries struck a ridiculous chord when it came to that intro of the show, but I have another one that actually beats Unsolved Mysteries for me. There was a show back in the day that I could not watch the intro. And the intro wasn't even very long. Mm-hmm. The intro scared me so much. And it was a show called Tales from the Dark Side. And if you've never seen it, check out that intro. It's the eeriest intro I have ever seen. And it would instantly set the tone. And I don't even remember, because it was basically like a supernatural or more of a ghost story-esque like version of, what's that stupid show? Twilight Zone?
Oh, okay.
Like, it basically was Twilight Zone. It was like, hey, what's that? Tales from the Dark Side's intro scared the fuck out of me. And I remember I couldn't even get through it sometimes. And the show wasn't even that great. Yeah. Like, the show itself wasn't that great. I would literally change the channel and time myself to go back and then watch the show. And the show would be like, that was okay. It's not bad. But the intro scared me. I suggest, if you've never seen it, go watch it. Because if it still holds up at all, that's a fantastic intro. But it probably doesn't.
When I was a kid, I watched the Italian movie Demons, and everybody who knows me, like, for more than 5 or 10 minutes, the movie Demons will come up, and I'll say how much it scared me. This movie I watched when I was, I think, 8 years old, and it haunted me for 2.5 weeks. I had very vivid nightmares. I couldn't shake the characters out of my head. All the effects were practical. Just this scary, horrifying movie about demons who wall up a theater and just proceed to kill everybody. And they turn into demons similar to zombies in that when they bite or scratch, then you become a demon. And when I started working at the job I work at now, one of the first things I did was find a copy of Demons, and I watched it again as a 30-something-year-old. And I was thinking, this movie's not going to do shit to me. And I watched it and it still terrifies the fuck out of me. That movie still fucks me up. It's a very gruesome horror movie, and I love every bit of it. But a lot of people talk about transformation scenes in movies, and there's a scene where a woman is, I don't know, cleaved up by a demon. She becomes one, and the transformation of her demon teeth coming into her head is one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen.
It pushes her normal teeth out.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I thought that was a very cool, interesting scene. I unfortunately saw that movie as an adult, and I could totally see how someone could be terrified of that movie, but unfortunately, it is still extremely dated. Yeah. And I would love to see that movie remade, because I could totally see how that could scare someone young. Mm-hmm. And the fact that it was already ingrained in you, I could see why it would still scare you as an adult. I am upset that I didn't get to watch that movie as a younger kid, because that probably would have messed me up too. If anyone out there has any connections to Hollywood, remake Demons, Hollywood big budget movie. Not big budget movie, but a Hollywood movie. Someone, watch that original, remake it. It would be great. I think it's a great concept. Another scenario, and I think this is where we start getting into, when it comes to watching movies, when you start like, why did it terrify you? There was a moment captured perfectly in a movie that I adore. Most people haven't even seen it, and it's called Silver Bullet. Loosely based off of one of Stephen King's novellas, I forgot what it was called, like something of the moon or... Silver Bullet, 80s movie. The werewolf, even back then, didn't look that great. Practical effects, though. That movie... Right? I believe so. I'd have to fact check that. But that movie will always have a place in my heart. I love that movie to death, from head to toe. That's almost a movie that's like, don't ever remake that movie.
But at the same time, Demons. Like, I would not want to see a remake of Demons.
But at the same time, I kind of would want to see a remake of Demons if you could recapture it, though. Like, I just
don't think they would. I think they would fumble around and fuck it all up.
Yeah, and that's the only thing that sucks about remakes. Like, you would really have to it'd have to be someone's passion project. It's like, no, I love this movie. But the movie itself, again, personal opinion, it's a cool little movie. It's great. It's not the best acted, but it's not horrible. But at the very end, when you're about to get your payoff, when the werewolf is coming for Marty, and the final confrontation is about to start, there is this fantastic moment where the uncle, played by Gary Busey, is asleep on the like a rocking chair or a chair or recliner or whatever, and he's awoken because his cigarette burns his hand, and everyone's kind of like, oh, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, everyone's waking up, and it's like, okay, we need to go to bed. This is bullshit. There is no werewolf. That reality check of like, okay, maybe this was all silly. He ain't coming. There's a moment that as he's waking up, for all the old fogies listening to this, where the cable channels and local TV channels would sign off with like the
National
pledges,
anthem.
National Anthem, Star Spangled Banner, whatever. They would always play off, and then they would end the transmission for the night. And in that scene, they end the transmission for the night with what did you say? The
National anthem.
Thank you, the National Anthem. And that whole moment from that point to where the power gets cut off, to where that the werewolf's outside, the pacing of that entire scene scared me so much. And even though it doesn't scare me anymore, there's still the little tingle, the little thing that overcomes when I see that scene. And it's such a fantastic scene because it scares me because it goes back to the unknown. Mm-hmm. There's something outside. The power just got cut off. I love Gary Busey's like, don't panic, like there's nothing wrong. We don't know anything. And then the little girl sees the werewolf in the window through the mirror, and this thing's stalking them. And there's this moment of where is it going to come from? And I love that they chose. I think they're all focusing on like the front door through a hallway, and the motherfucker just rips through a wall. You know what I mean? Like it's the most fantastic thing because it was
like a woke up.
Yeah. It's just so fantastic, and that part still scares me, and it might not terrify me as an adult, but God, I love that scene so much, and that's a fear moment that I would love to recapture. One thing I hate about being an adult and growing up is like a lot of this, it's really hard to scare you now. Mm-hmm. But that's one that if I could wipe my memory or go back to childhood and relive that was one of my most favorite scenes. I love that scene so much.
I'm trying to think. I had a childhood TV show in my head, and it like fucking slipped away from me.
Are You Alone in the Dark?
Are You Afraid of the Dark? Are You Alone in the Dark?
Oh my God.
They are terrible. Like I didn't see those as a kid. I saw them a month ago, and I do not like them at all. I'm trying to think of if you have another one.
Well, going back to, and this is going to sound really silly, there was also another scary ass moment. Hellraiser. That movie still trips me out to this day. Hellraiser scares me. Hellraiser scared the hell out of me. The idea of the puzzle box being some kind of key to opening a portal to hell. Mm-hmm. The way I think they're called the Deadites. I'm not 100% sure. Cinemites. What are the Deadites? Deadites or something. Isn't that Evil Dead?
I have no idea.
Let's go ahead and fact check that while I talk. That movie...
And I actually think they're called Cenobites, but a lot of people think, oh, you mean like little cinnamon buns?
Yeah.
But no, they're called Cenobites.
Yeah, it's like... what? Oh, Deadites. Isn't that it? They're fucking the lights in it. Did you just see the remake?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, they don't mention it, though. Deadites. Evil Dead. Well, anyways, the idea of the chains, the hooks,
the pain is pleasure.
Yeah, that was something, as a kid, I didn't get it, but as an adult, that freaks me out even more because there is that weird, like, you hear certain people talk, especially, and I don't want to get too much into, the stuff that I'm not 100%, involved in, but like, the people who like the little pain with their, sexual encounters, BDSM or whatever, stuff like that, S&M.
And there's a transcendental state of pain that people experience, like people who do body modification or like hanging from hooks and stuff like that, and like it takes them to a different plane of existence, or at least sensation for sure. We know that for sure. But this is like a horror. It's like a horror version of that, because the brother, he's calling forth these things, and he transcends because he's in so much pain. Like he goes to a world of pain or something. But then he becomes like almost addicted to the torture. Exactly. It's so insane, and like the one thing that I really enjoy about those movies too is how Pinhead and his crew,
they never come across as evil. Like
they just are.
Yeah, it's like he even says something along the lines, and he has some of the best lines. Like some of
delivery.
Some of those deliveries, some of those lines are so fantastic. But the one about him is like, such waste of good suffering when she's like crying and stuff. Like those little moments. You hear these lines being delivered and they're scary and they're so villainous, but the way they're delivered and the way he's like in the context of how he's saying it, it's almost like, oh, it's not evil, this is just a thing. It's like, we're going to give you this intense pleasure through pain, and vice versa. We're going to give you intense pain through pleasure, like this really sickening
thing.
And
you asked for this.
Yeah,
so we are here to serve a purpose. Like those guys over there, they're garbage men. Those people over there, they're commentators. We deal in pain.
Yeah, we deal in pain, and you called us.
You just are. Yeah. So
you opened it, we came. Like, oh, holy shit! Yeah. So that's definitely one of those whole movie wise, but that moment and understanding that as an adult, that shit's creepy.
Yeah, it really is. I'm trying to work backwards up to more modern stuff. So like I'm thinking like I remember watching Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Oh my god!
When
Large Marge,
yeah. So I'm sitting there watching that as a kid. So I can't remember which comes first. If it's Large Marge and the Nightmare, like which one happens first. But one primes the other, I think. So when he sees Large Marge, he says, "Large Marge sent you," and she has that terrifying face. As a kid, I was undone. For like a night, I was undone. And then I can't remember. I think Large Marge happens after the scene with the clowns, but there's a scene where Pee-wee imagines his fucking bike is broken and this ambulance shows up and these fucked up clowns come out they put it together and they truck it off into the ambulance and then they're trying to like put it together and there's these fucked up close-ups like Tim Burton just scaring kids for no reason. But
he did direct that, didn't he?
Yeah, he directed the first one.
Shit, I didn't know that.
So the clowns are
so much.
Unsettling, but then Large Marge just hits you as a kid and you're like, oh my god.
Yes.
One of the scariest things I saw as a kid. It really, really bothered me for a while.
Wow, that's a really good one.
Since we were talking about Hellraiser, another Clive Barker thing was Candyman. I saw Candyman when it came out on VHS. If you say home video, you sound like a fossil. So, I watched it. I rented it from, I don't know, Hollywood Video or wherever I was. I lived in Texas by that time when it came out, but I remember watching Candyman and I loved the idea. Growing up poor, it's harder for me to believe in ghosts and stuff like that when it seems like there are more pressing issues. Like, I'm worried about actual violence instead of this ghost story, And I loved that Candyman took place in a world where people were surrounded by poverty and the horrors of humans, but also the supernatural son of a bitch, that was like stalking Cabrini Green and this whole like tenement, this project area in this downtrodden part of the city. I think it takes place in Chicago.
I want to say it takes place in Chicago.
Yeah, it's all about like a former slave, and it's like this ghost story, and you say it in the mirror. And so there's a part at the beginning where this woman is trying to like dig up dirt on the lore of Candyman. And she comes across like a gang member, a couple of gang members.
Oh yeah, that part scared me in a different way.
That part I was like, oh, ho hum, right? So he walks like, oh, here you're looking for Candyman, bitch. And he's just standing there and he has a hook in his hand, right? Like one that you can just hold.
They're in the restroom, right?
Yeah, they're in the restroom. And he knocks her out and mugs her and shit. She wakes up, she has a big old fucked up eye. But later on in the movie, she actually meets Candyman. And she's going to her car and she turns around and you just hear Helen, like from anywhere and everywhere. And she looks and she's way down at the end of the parking garage. You can barely see him. And he says it again, his mouth doesn't move. And like, oh, that's Candyman. And when you first see him up close, he doesn't have a hook in his hand. He has a hook coming out of the bloody stump of what was his hand.
Yeah.
And that, like Tony Todd's voice and the reaction of, I think it was Maria Bello, maybe? I cannot remember who played Helen. But, it was Michael Madsen's sister.
I didn't even know that they were related.
Yeah. God damn it. I don't remember.
Virginia Madsen.
Virginia Madsen, thank you. So she deals with Candyman and then passes out and wakes up in a pool of blood. And slowly, like she's falling asleep and waking up, and nightmare stuff is happening. So and then Candyman also was covered in honey when he was killed in his lore, and was stung by a bunch of bees. And I'm kind of afraid of bees. I hadn't been stung, so all of that put together was just like one of the scariest things I had seen. And Candyman really stayed with me for a long time, so much so that I love it to this day. Now I look at it as a really well-made horror movie. Like, oh, that's like on lines of 7, or movies that are. I think that's a good movie. Yeah, but I really enjoyed it as a movie. But Candyman was
that's a great one. Well,
I think I was in middle school when I watched Candyman.
I would have loved to have tried to go more in a chronological order from youth to now, or more modern. But I'm gonna continue to bounce. So my dog Gonzalo over here is going to do in order. I'm gonna bounce.
I'll try. Well, because you'll probably spark something, and then
yeah. So obviously, I can't talk about horror moments without talking about one of my most favorite horror movies of all time, and it's the original black and white version of Night of the Living Dead. And Night of the Living Dead didn't scare me from beginning to end. Night of the Living Dead scared me because of that awesome beginning. The beginning of that movie was so good, and that asshole brother who they're coming to get you, Barbara. Like, I don't know.
There's one of them now.
Yeah,
He's such a shit.
There's something about the way he delivers the lines, the way the scene is set up, the choice of black and white. I can't pinpoint why. But even now, that scares me. Like, it creeps me out, there's one right there, and then the stumbling zombie coming, and the way it just all starts. One of my most favorite things about zombie movies is that most of them just seem to start. You fall asleep the next day, fucking hell has taken over. I love stories like that. But that's
honestly one of my favorite things about going to the movies, is that you walk in and the world is one way, and when you walk out, the world can be some other way.
Yes.
Because most people are still connected to their phones or whatever in a fucking theater.
I hate that. Don't ever do that,
guys. But then I'm disconnected for 2.5 hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the world could be totally different from when I leave, so it's part of the experience, even though I don't like to go to the theater as much as I used to. So continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So there was another thing that really continued to trigger, like, so much so that I actually was trying to, like, I was trying to design a video game around that concept. But the other thing that scares me about that movie is that toward the end, where days starting to turn into night, especially as a black and white movie, there was some moments where they would go look outside to, I don't know, look for somebody, or look at what the situation was going. And you could see the silhouettes of the zombies getting closer to the house, but you couldn't gauge how close they were.
Yeah.
You couldn't see them. And I think that is one of the most terrifying things in a zombie movie ever. And the fact that I haven't really seen that too much, I've always loved the idea that the slow-moving zombie on paper doesn't sound super scary, because it's like, oh, just run around it, Mm-hmm. But the idea that if you fucking dick around... one will just immediately be behind you, like almost just spawn in, it's like, oh, there's one behind you now, so yeah, you might knock it off and you might back away. Now you see two in front of you, and then there's a third reaching for you that's behind you again, and you're like, how did you get behind me? Like, there's something so eerie, and Night of the Living Dead pulled that off so well. And the remake to Night of the Living Dead, the colorized one with, I believe, also
Tony Todd. Yeah, I was going to talk about
that one, I mean, if you ever wanted to know how to do a remake, that's how you do a remake.
That's a really good one,
because it not only follows the beats of it, but it changes stuff.
And it modernizes it.
It modernized it. It made Barbara a little bit of a badass.
Yeah,
which I thought was really cool.
It moved it forward instead of just like making the conceits of what was going on then, and it's like, now we're going to do it in color. It's like, no, how would she be today?
Yeah,
Which was like in the 92, 93? Somewhere around
like
there.
that.
But I saw that around the time I saw Candyman, so I was like, Tony Todd.
Fantastic. And that's another one of those things where it's like, holy crap! Like, not only that's how you do the remake, but then of course special effects are better.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always loved that concept. But going back to what I was saying about the moment of being scared, is I love the idea of that black and white silhouette. You couldn't really gauge the distance of them, but you're surrounded.
Mm-hmm.
And then I always love where if you have a choice in a movie where it's like, if we don't decide now what to do, we can't buy ourselves more time. Those moments always get me. Like, I get more in a panic, which of course increases my fear.
Yeah.
Because there's that part where they're like, well, we got to make a move because we're surrounded, and it's like, but you can't see. You know, we can't go out there. And it's like, what do? Do you hold down the fort? Do you continue to board up windows and you stay put and hope that you can get through the day, or do you make a move, knowing that they are slow?
Yeah,
but you don't know how many are out there, especially because it's getting
dark. Yeah,
you know, like that's fantastic. But I love that.
All right, so the Night of the Living Dead remake, I saw that first. I didn't see the black and white one first, and I was like with Tony Todd. I was, it was scary. I watched it on HBO. I watched it with my mom. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't until years later that I saw the original Night of the Living Dead. And I remember seeing the ending for the original, and I go, that's how you end that movie. Like, I like the ending of the remake, but the ending for the original is way better.
It is so good.
So much. Like, it does not leave you with any hope. Any hope you had that the sun had come, they rip it right away from you.
Yes.
I really like that.
Yes, that is awesome.
I'm trying to think of, there's always Freddy, Jason, like, those two, I think, were like mainstays of just childhood horror because it was the most well-known horror movies that we knew at the time. But I always found Michael Myers infinitely scarier.
Michael Myers is terrifying.
Yeah, I think I still really fucking love the first Halloween movie. I think the mythology got a little out of control, but I saw Halloween 1 and then I saw Halloween 4. So those are my two favorite Halloween movies.
No, I think you're supposed to skip the third one.
Yeah, 3. Yeah, because 3 was supposed to be the start of an anthology. Like, John Carpenter had wanted to do an anthology series. It's like every Halloween movie was going to be a new
which sounds
series.
awesome to me.
And
that
like the
really
premise
cool.
of the third one, it's like using business and technology to enact an old dark ritual. I think that's a cool premise.
Yeah.
It's like, I really dig it. Season of the Witch, I think, is a little underrated. It's hard, like, being under the same, like, the vast cash shadow of Michael Myers. But the first one is really terrifying. Like, I remember being a kid and you're like, 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you, the little nursery rhyme and stuff. Like, I like to dream and everybody has to sleep, so that fucked me up. And I used to like to be outside. I lived in Oregon when I first watched the Freddy movies,
Nightmare on Elm
Street. The Jason movies. Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th.
And there was eventually going to be a Friday the 13th. Do you know what I mean? Like, there would be an unlucky day I had to sleep. So both of those things could come true. I lived in a lot of wooded areas and stuff. But there was something about the Halloween that just really fucked me up.
I'm going to go ahead and admit something. I've never seen a Friday the 13th movie.
Ever?
I've never been interested in them.
Really?
I don't know why. I mean, I've seen some of them, but not from beginning to end. Like, I've caught pieces where someone else was watching them and I would finish them off. I've just never been. But Halloween scares me, terrifies me. I love Halloween. Probably one of the greatest pieces of horror music ever.
Okay, but put a pin on that. I wanted to mention something about that. But so the first Friday the 13th has like a nightmare sequence, I think, where this woman is laying in a canoe and she's like playing with the water on Camp Crystal Lake, and Jason comes up from under and he's like burned her skin.
Yeah, it's like deformed.
Yeah,
I've seen that.
That as a kid, I remember seeing that really early on, and that fucked me up. Like, really bad. Just like the music and the slow motion and her face and his face, and it was just terrifying in a way that when I saw Johnny Depp sucked into a bed and a geyser of blood came up, that just didn't affect me. Like, I was scared because I was a kid, but not the way that Jason coming out of the water haunted me. Like, the Freddy Krueger movies were scary for a moment, but Friday the 13th, the first one, stayed with me.
Going with that, I feel that my Jason coming out of the water moment is such a subtle moment, is a Nightmare on Elm Street, where Nancy's taking a bath and the claws come out of the water between her legs. That shit terrified me because when he pulls her down and she's drowning and it's like, oh, you're not in a tub, you're in like an ocean and you can see the light of the tub. Like the little window or whatever, or like how far she was from it. Terrified. I couldn't take baths anymore. I was done. And I was like, oh man.
I feel like it was around that time I stopped taking baths too.
Yeah, it's like that scene, that moment.
I became a shower guy. I didn't stop taking baths.
No, I just stopped. I haven't taken a bath since 1987. 7 and fucking water sucks. No. But that terrified me. So I think that's my Friday the 13th moment, because I was like, because I feel, and not to stray off our subject of the moments that we were scared, but I feel like that first time on Elm Street was really great. I love that movie.
Good.
It's so, and after that they all just kind of meh.
Yeah, I think Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street started to become parodies of themselves. And
yes.
You can't go 7+ sequels without
going to space.
Exactly. Yeah.
But jumping back into, okay, so you have, obviously you have to, if you're gonna talk about horror moments. Oh, what were you gonna say?
Are you gonna go about Halloween?
No, actually, I was gonna,
okay.
If you're gonna go Halloween,
we're gonna stay on Freddy and Jason for a little bit. Just like we'll do our Freddy Jason segment, right?
Okay, go for it.
Well, like there's, I think it's the
you have to pay your respects.
Yeah, I think so. And same with you. Like I watched 1 or 2 Freddy movies, and I saw the ones I know for sure I've seen is Friday the 13th 1, 2, and Jason Takes Manhattan. Those are the 3 I've seen.
Ouch.
Every other one I've either stopped halfway through or just never watched them. So they're just movies.
I've seen a chunk of Jason Goes to Space.
Oh, Jason 10.
Yeah, or Jason X, and it's as bad as you can imagine. Maybe more so.
But I think it's Friday. No, God damn it, Nightmare on Elm Street 3 or 4, where these kids kind of try to like stand up to Freddy. So one of them like draws comics and he's a big comics kid.
That's
he becomes a superhero.
Dream Fighters. Hold on, yeah, Dream Fighters.
Dream Fighters.
Super Dream Fighters 2 Turbo Freddy Edition.
So there was that where this guy imagines himself as his own superhero, and I thought that was kind of cool. And then Jason shows up as like a super bastard superhero nightmare creature. It was fucking dumb. But there is also a scene where this woman has like an eating disorder, and he like makes her eat. Yeah, and so that whole movie I think is like there's horror juxtaposed with comedy. So there's like a scene where she falls asleep at the dinner table, and Freddy's there, and he's like, "Bon appetit, bitch!" And he like slams this thing, and he just forces her to eat. She gets sick, and she dies. Right? Like it's disgusting and sad and gruesome. And then it cuts to her like in the real world. And she's just standing up, going,
yes, oh my god,
funny.
Oh my
it just
god.
like immediately took me out of that movie.
Yeah,
even as a kid, I was like, I'm supposed to laugh. And then there was another woman, I think she was a drug addict, and
the needles.
Freddy has the needles on his hands, and then you can see all of her pores are like open like little mouths.
That was creepy. I feel like Nightmare on Elm Street 1, I feel like there was like, oh man, we're gonna do some creepy stuff, because like the tub scene was super creepy, and that felt like a nightmare. And when Nancy's running up the stairs, even though you could see the puddle of goo, the practical effects, I thought that was really cool. Like, I can't move, further. Like, that's a nightmare scenario. There's certain things in there that were really cool. Like, I feel like somebody, whether it was Wes Craven or just somebody who was helping write that story, were like, oh, I've had a nightmare like that. And as they progressed, I just felt that the nightmare scenarios got sillier and sillier, even though some of them were cool. The little mouths and the needle thing was really cool.
Yeah.
As a nerd, the comic book thing was kind of cool until he became Super Freddy, and that was fucking super lame. But there was also
it was like Super Bastard or something. It was
it was really so dumb. And there was also some of the really worst ones was like where there was like a pizza diner, and like all the friends who had been taken were pizza balls, and Freddy was eating them. Like that was horrible. The one where I think the chick was like super, like she was into working out. She was like lifting weights, and the weight got too strong for her, and her like fucking bones snapped, like her arm snapped, but then like she turned into a roach.
What?
Yeah,
I can't.
We will fact check that, but no, she like turns into a roach, because I remember like from where her elbows snapped or her forearm snapped, and then like the little like roach legs came out, and like she turns into a roach.
That's crazy.
And then Freddy has her in a roach box, and he crushes it.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and I didn't know how that correlated with the lifting weights, but
Dr. Destiny breaks that crystal, and then like Morpheus has him in his hands.
yeah, it's exactly. But like, in paying respects to Freddy, although those movies got progressively worse, there was the one where they were in the I guess the insane asylum, or not the insane asylum, but they were like in a mental Hospital, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that one was Dream Masters, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was the fourth one. I could be getting 3 and 4 mixed up, but that one creeped me out because there was a scene where the guy, I guess he was kind of a horn dog. He had the hots for one of the nurses, and the nurses comes on to him, and I think she even takes her top off. You get a little bit of nudity, but she uses her tongue to wrap him up, to handcuff him to the bed, and that creeped me out for.
There's a lot of tongue stuff in the Freddy movies.
The tongue thing in the first movie with the phone, that fucking scared the shit out of me.
Gross, yeah.
That was pretty awesome. But yeah, it's unfortunate that they became parodies of themselves.
It's cool because they're nightmare Halloween mascots. You know, they're like fucking apple pie.
The modern day vampire, werewolf, mummy.
Yeah, and now they just have titles.
Yeah.
But they lost their appeal and effect a long time ago, and now they're just something to laugh at or something to hey, remember when,
or you can just constantly parody Rick and Morty, you know.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't realize that Scary Terry is Freddy Krueger.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah. I'm sure young kids going, Scary Terry,
they're just cracking up about it and not knowing at all that it's a parody of something.
It breaks my heart that they tried to remake Nightmare, and I thought that was going to be really good, and it wasn't. And I don't know if that was because of casting, because I figured that what's his name?
I can't remember the actor's
who
name.
he was.
He's from San Antonio.
Is he really?
Uh-huh. Yeah, that actor.
Interesting. I was like, oh well, he was all right as Rorschach. That's okay. Let's see where we go from there. It just wasn't good. It wasn't that great, and it's one of those things where it's like I feel like if you don't have Robert England. If you don't have him, you don't have Freddy. But then at the same time, it doesn't matter what he does. You will always remember the silly lines.
Jackie Earle Haley is his name.
Ah, there you go.
I had to look it up. Rooney Mara's in that movie?
Oh my God, is she really?
That's crazy.
Well, but then going back to the Halloween stuff, I'm really excited for this new movie because they're kind of going, no. Everything after I think the second one.
The first.
Or just the first?
Just the first.
I love that. Everything after the first one never happened. Mm-hmm. This is the true,
I have a problem that they've cut out that Michael Myers is her sister. Or her brother.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It was in the first trailer where it's I heard that, she was some person's brother. She was Michael's brother. And it's oh, no, that was just a rumor. So they're kind of cutting that out. And I think maybe that might be a twist in the movie. I think she'll eventually be related.
Yeah, I didn't take it as that. I took it as... that rumor was a rumor.
Yeah,
people probably. Just gossiping and talking no, you're stupid, when in reality no, that's her actual brother.
Yeah, I think the first Friday the 13th and the first Nightmare on Elm Street are decent horror films, and they deserve to be talked about. I think Halloween is an actual scary movie.
Yes,
I think that movie
agree.
is fucking scary. Carpenter is on point. The music is fantastic, and a lot of the shots of Michael's white face way off in the distance fucks me up. Him standing in the laundry when she's upstairs and she looks down and he's just kind of in between the sheets that are blowing, that messes me up. There's a scene where Strode, I can't remember, is it Carrie? I can't remember the character's name, something Strode, is walking with her friend home, and that Jason has the station wagon, or Michael has the station wagon, and her friend shouts at the station wagon as it creeps by, and it comes to an abrupt stop. It hits the fucking brakes, and it just sits there, and they get all
oh yeah,
Laurie Strode, right?
There you go.
So that part is subtle and intense. I love that movie, and he's just so. Jason is an unkillable monster, and Freddy is a nightmare demon. Michael is just a crazy person in a jumpsuit. It's so uncomfortable. And
can we go ahead and go on record, even though this might be popular or unpopular opinion? The Halloween remakes garbage.
The ones by Rob Zombie?
Yeah.
Oh, they're god awful. I think
awful.
they're fucking terrible.
Yeah, they're the worst things ever. I don't need my Michael Myers fucking this unstoppable cane machine.
Yeah, I don't need to know that he was raised by white trash.
Yeah,
that doesn't mean
it means nothing.
It was a terrible.
So I just wanted to get that out of the way. We are not pro.
Okay, but I will say something that cracked me up. I've been terrified of that Halloween theme since I was a kid. Mm-hmm. I remember, I don't know how old I was. I think I was 7 or 8. I think I was 7. We were living in Ripon in California, and my cousins were having a Halloween party, and I was a little kid. They were, teenagers, and they had that theme playing in the living room. I could not leave the bedroom. I was so scared. Like, I couldn't open the door to hear it more or to go and get candy or whatever. I could not leave the bedroom. I was fucking terrified. So I had a copy of the Jim Lee Punisher War Journal number 6 and 7, Wolverine, where he fights him, and then I had The Killing Joke. That's all I had to read. I was just like alone in this room with some comics. But cut to, I think last week or a week before, somebody sent me a video, a little clip on Instagram of some little girl. Like, there's a giant life-size Michael Myers, and it's playing the music, right? And he's just like standing there shaking a little, and she's dancing with him. Like, it's this cute little girl, and she's like dancing along with the music, and it immediately ruined it. Like, not ruined it, but cured me of it. It's not scary at all.
I'm glad I haven't seen that.
Don't
I know
watch
you just
it.
told me,
It's maybe the most adorable thing I've ever seen, and it just immediately takes away all of the threat that theme used to have or hold over me. So,
oh my god.
I feel like a different person. I feel free.
Is this what it feels like to be cured of something?
Yeah, have no more fear of that.
Wow, I'm glad I'm not there. So I since I feel that if we're going to discuss scenes in movies that scared us, and that we've already covered, the 3 godfathers, I guess you could say, of horror when it comes to like character-wise, Michael and Freddy and Jason. I feel that the next part needs to segue into a movie that everyone's terrified at some point, that I didn't watch until I was like 16, 17, and still terrified me, as dated as it was. But we have to get into The Exorcist.
Okay.
The Exorcist. So much of that movie frightened me, and I don't think I've seen it since. Like,
you only seen it once?
I've only seen it once, and I've been wanting to watch it again, but I want to watch it under the right circumstances. But there was little things that movie does, things that I wish more horror movies did, especially when dealing with supernatural. I love when a camera is moving, either following an actor or moving away from the main scene to transition into like a fade to black, and there's a subtle something there. I think there was a scene in The Exorcist, and again, please forgive me if I'm incorrect or I'm mixing something else up, but I remember there being a scene where I think the mother comes into the room to check on I can't remember the character's name, but the little girl, and as she's closing the door to leave, she closes the door, and there's a face in the shadow, and that's it. Like, they don't focus on it, they don't zoom in. There's just this face there, and it's the fucking demon. It's what's his name? I always forget his name. He has such a cool name. The gorilla's
Captain Howdy.
Oh, but his actual name, like the demon name.
Oh.
But yes, yeah. What's his name? Pazuzu. God damn it! I should have known that.
What's Captain Howdy from?
It's him.
It's okay.
That's what she calls him.
Okay.
I think it's Captain Howdy, but I know it's something silly like that. But yeah, Pazuzu, and I think it's Pazuzu's face. And holy shit, little things like that just scared the living crap out of me, because it sets it's Captain Howdy. It sets a tone, and I love those things. And The Exorcist is by far still one of my top 5 favorite horror movies.
It's an uncomfortable sit. Like, it's a rough watch.
Yeah. And I never saw the director cut one where they apparently added some more scenes that makes it more scarier. I've never seen that.
I don't remember because I've seen the one where she masturbates with the crucifix.
Yeah. I didn't see that.
No? Okay.
And then there was also she apparently does this insane crab walk down the stairs that was really creepy. And I never saw that one, but I saw a clip
that's
on
the one that I saw.
Yeah, and but whatever version, and see, that's the face. That's that face right there. That's in the door.
Okay, yeah.
And you look at it now as such a Halloween
No, that's creepy.
You think so? See, to me, I'm like, oh, okay.
I'm gonna go home and go to sleep by myself tonight.
But God, man, that thing is so awesome. Like that movie is fantastic. And you want to talk about now? I was always afraid of the Halloween music, but the one that got me to where you were at, where I wouldn't leave a room, is when I would heard that piano Exorcist music.
Okay, yeah.
That one creeped me out, because I guess no matter how much a nightmare demon or crazy killer undead person, I guess, I don't know if Jason's technically undead or whatever. Like that story kind of got a little weird. Or just a psychopath from a fucking insane asylum. Mm-hmm. There will never be anything that could trigger me more than either something supernatural to a point of demonic, like true demonic, heaven and hell shit. And The Exorcist is one of those movies that just fucked me up and gave me the creeps. And I think that whole scene of the actual exorcism is one of the best scenes in horror movies ever, because I feel like you're actually watching an exorcism, and I've never seen an exorcism. I have no background on that. Yeah, but damn, that is so good. But yeah, Exorcist, holy crap.
Yeah, Exorcist it's a really good movie. And like, okay, so it works as like a good narrative. It's a good movie, but it is terrifying and uncomfortable, and it definitely feels like how do they win? I really enjoyed The Exorcist. Speaking of another one that I saw later in life, was the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I saw that in my mid-20s. Mm-hmm. The thing that I really enjoy that fucks me up about that movie is that it doesn't feel like a movie. Like, it feels like you're watching someone's really bad day.
Yeah, like a snuff film.
Yeah. It has like this weird quality of voyeurism. Like, this isn't a movie. That you're just watching some fucked up shit happen to these poor kids that's shot really well. When you get all the camera angles. But that's a movie that it's raw and it's scary, and there's hardly any music, and it's just a lot of screaming and a lot of buzzsaw whirling.
The idea of the skin on the guy's face and the chainsaw was such, like, I feel like they completely were like, how do we make stuff scarier? And it's like, oh, give a dude skin on his face and a chainsaw. It's like brilliant, and go from there.
This time. Oh, great. Yeah, makeup and stuff. A lot of the family, like, it always seems like out of the frying pan and into the fire in that movie. So they pick up the hitchhiker, and then they have to stop for directions, and then they go to this creepy house, and they start to lose each other. And the one woman, she makes it back to the gas station, and it turns out that he's just another part of the family, and he wraps her up in the bag and puts her in the truck and takes her back. And then with the grandfather trying to hit her over the head with the hammer to kill her
oh my god, yes.
That movie is full of frightening imagery.
Yes.
Toby Hooper, I think he was the one that directed that movie.
Ugh. I've only seen that movie once.
Really?
I would like to watch it again.
You should totally watch it again.
I feel, and this is straight up just opinion, but I feel like when you think about Rob Zombie and what he was trying to do, like, I respect him what he was trying to do. I really do feel he failed with the Halloween movies, and I know a lot of people love those remakes, and that's cool, that's fine.
I don't know anybody that does, but I'm sure that they're out there.
I'm sure there are. But and you know what? And not to sound like a smart ass or an asshole, period. But I feel like the people who love those remake of Halloween movies didn't grow up with the Halloween movie, so it's like, oh, this is just a really good movie.
I think so. It's like people who like the prequels. Who grew up like, this is my introduction to this world, and no matter what the setting, Michael Myers is creepy. So if you put him, some kids saw fucking Halloween, the Rob Zombie one, on Halloween when they were 7 to 12, it's
13, 14. I feel like, and not to sound ugly, but I feel like my son, who's 16 years old, I don't know if he's seen the remakes, and I don't know if he's even seen the originals, but if he saw it, I'd be like, ooh, that was a badass movie, And that's great. That's awesome. The idea of loving the character and the story is cool. But when it comes to narrative, filming, story, acting, all that stuff, I feel the old ones are better. What I will say is that I know he didn't really have any involvement with any remakes of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but I think that Rob Zombie can capture that essence of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre stuff, because what was it, the House of a Thousand Corpses and all that stuff?
And Devil's Rejects and shit.
Feels so much like this is my ode to that. Obviously it's not.
It does. It has more. It seems more in line with Texas Chainsaw Massacre than.
Which makes me go, Halloween. Shit, I wish you would have remade the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I think you would have probably made...
Did you see the remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre? It was dog shit.
I didn't like it. It wasn't...
It felt like a teen horror movie. It didn't feel like a horror movie.
It really did. And we just recently, a few months ago or something like that, we watched the I guess the most newest movie of like the creation of Leatherface and how.
Oh God, you watched that? Yeah.
Oh, it was awful. Again, my 16-year-old son picked it.
I loved it.
No, actually, he hated it, which
nice.
was actually made me really happy that he hated it, which is so stupid to say, but I really wish, like, Rob Zombie, if you're listening to this, remake Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I think you could do it. I think Rob Zombie could make an awesome Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie.
You could totally recycle shit or ideas you had for House of Thousand Corpses and Devil Rejects and just do Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I did want to watch The Lords of Salem, but I don't
even know what that is.
It's the last Rob Zombie movie that came out. Just
really?
Looked interesting.
Okay.
But I don't know. I'll probably never watch it. Did you ever see Creepshow? Or Creepshow?
I love Creepshow.
Okay, so
was that the one with the roaches?
I saw the second. The second one is what I talked about. You might be talking about the first one. So the second one's like my favorite.
which is some of the stories?
Okay, so the three stories in the second one are the first one is about old Chief Woodenhead, and this guy has this old man and wife have a general goods shop in like a reservation town, and there's like a wooden statue of a war chief, a Native American war chief, and they're murdered in cold blood. So this statue comes to life and kills all the people that killed them. And
fantastic.
Then the second one is called like The Raft, and it's about this like old nasty thing that starts eating these kids that go out to go like hang out on a raft at the end of summer.
What? No, I've never seen the second one.
The third one is called The Hitchhiker, and it's about a woman who accidentally kills a hitchhiker, and like he starts to haunt her car on the way home.
Ooh, that sounds really awesome.
Okay, the way I'm saying it sounds awesome. It might not play out that well. It's a cheesy cult classic. You know what I mean? Like it's a very B movie, but the stories were all done by Stephen King, and George Romero adapted them.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's a nice pedigree, but it's a fun, it's a grindhouse film. It's a bunch of silly horror stories.
Yeah, so apparently I watched the first Creepshow because that's the one I remember vividly. And let me just kind of click on this.
Tell me what the stories are for that one.
Yeah, so and I guess I didn't watch them from beginning to end. I remember that there was one. It's called Something to Tide You Over, and I think Ted Danza was in it. And I think, let me see. Oh no, wait, I might be wrong. Let's see. Hold on. I might be getting my fucking stories mixed up. Hold on. Let's see.
Do you hear the expression "Thanks for the ride, lady"? That's from Creepshow too.
Oh my god, no, I'm horribly wrong. Let's go ahead and scratch this off the record. I might be getting my shows mixed up.
Is it Tales from the Crypt, the movie?
No, because I've seen that one. I know that one, that older one, and well, the one that I remember the most is on the first Creepshow, and it's called "They're Creeping Up on You," and it was basically this like super rich dude was like in this like penthouse apartment, and he's like a germaphobe, like he's a piece of shit. And somehow roaches like start invading his home, and like it's just one or two, and he has bug spray and he's killing them, and by the time you know it, it just fucking goes nuts. Like we're talking like armies of roaches in this, and I think that like the whole apartment's like all white, and he's even in white and stuff, and they invade his fucking apartment to a point where I think he has like a fucking heart attack, like because there's so many, like they swarm. I mean, it's the most disgusting thing ever, and I think that's just disgusting because it's fucking roaches. But I remember that there was another anthology horror one that back to
Tales
the main.
from the Dark Side?
That was a movie too, and then
movie.
they turned it into a show, and then they had the creepy intro.
Okay.
But which is on Tales from the Dark Side? Which are some of those?
I'm trying to find them right now because I was like.
No.
Okay, there was another anthology movie that I saw where this woman like kills her husband on Christmas Eve or something.
That's Tales from the Crypt.
That's Tales from the Crypt?
That's Tales from the Crypt.
Okay.
That's a 70s, 60s,
Yeah.
70s.
Okay. And
those ones are great.
And then like some bum shows up in a Santa costume.
He's a psychopath. He escaped from an insane asylum, and the little girl, her daughter, lets him in. He's like, look, Mama, I found Santa. Yeah.
Okay.
He goes and chokes her. Yes, there's that one. The other one that was really good, the one that breaks my fucking heart, like it actually broke my heart, was there was like a father's son in a neighborhood, and they're kind of wealthy, snobby dickheads, and across the street is an old man who, a widowed old man. Was men widowed too, right? Widower. He's old, like 80s, and he has a lot of junk in his yard, and they hate him. He's just like, oh, he's bringing our property value down. And what he does is he gets the junk, and like it's a lot of like broken down toys and stuff, and he refurbishes them and he gives them to children, you know. And the kids will come and they visit with them. So they want to get him out of the neighborhood because I guess they want to like increase their property value and shit. Yeah. So they start like telling fucking neighborhood parents and shit. It was like, oh, he fucking diddles little kids. Like, you don't want him to go over there. So then all of a sudden, like, the kids stop showing up. And, like, he's so, like, where are the children? Like, he's so, like, it starts to, like, wear on him. But then and his wife is dead, right? So he, like, talks to her picture. And he's like, well, the kids didn't come again today. Like, it's so, I mean, it really, oh, dude, it gets worse. So, you know, he's like, I don't know where the kids have gone, you know, this and that. And, like, they keep doing all these little things to him that are just kind of, like, wearing him down. But he's just like, well, it's okay. You know, I still have you, love. You know, like, he's just so, like, trying to stay up. And I think on Valentine's, the father-son dickheads send him a whole bunch of Valentine cards. And he thinks it's from the kids. And all the Valentine cards are nasty. Like, they're dirty. Like, not dirty, like, sexual. Like, they're mean. Okay. You know, they're like stuff about him smelling and like just really ugly stuff, and it breaks his heart so much that he dies. He has a fucking heart attack, and he dies of a broken heart because he thinks that no one likes him. So a year goes in, you know, and on the day of Valentine's, they're kind of like, hey, it's Valentine's Day again. The fucking dad and the son, they're like, oh yeah, it's fucking, you know, it's been a year since fucking so and so died, you know, ha 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 ha, you know, whatever. Mm-hmm. And he winds up rising from the grave, and he kills the dad. And when the son checks on the dad the next day, like the dad's fucking dead, and there's a Valentine's card there, and he opens it up, and it's a little rhyming Valentine's card. It's like it's something as, and I'm not gonna look it up, but it's something as like on par with.
That scared you though?
It did because I was like, don't be mean to people. Like, don't be mean to little old men. You know, it scared me. But the thing is he says, like, you know, roses are red, violets are blue. Like, you called me a dirty old fart, but now you have no heart. And his fucking heart's there beating on the card and shit. But I was so young watching that it actually, like, it creeped me out because I was like, don't be mean to people. Yeah. Like, don't do that.
It's like heartbreaking and terrifying at the same time.
Yeah. And now when you watch it as an adult, it's like, oh my god, it's goofy. But it's still the old man part still actually break your heart. It's actually really, really good. But yeah, there was that one. But there was another anthology one, and I remember that scared me. But yeah, like that one totally. I can't remember what the other one was, but that one was really good too. I would like to kind of see if I can find that one again, because I remember there was some really good ones, anthology ones. Like this guy couldn't sleep, and he had a metronome, right? The one that, yeah, and he winds up. I don't know what he does, but he winds up like fucking killing somebody, and he's about to get away with it. And he uses the metronome, and it sends him into like this fucking like a trance almost. Mm-hmm. And these fucking like shadow people use like the ticking of the metronome to fucking like visit him, and every time the metronome ticks, they like blink into existence and blink out and blink in and blink out, and they wind up killing him and shit. Like it was creepy. I have to revisit that one. But anyways, continuing on, getting out of the anthology ones. If we're gonna go anthology, we gotta talk about VHS.
Yes, we can. I'm gonna try and stay chronological.
Okay, go for it.
So, Creepshow 2, I think, has a lot of great little scary moments in it. But then I remember watching Pet Sematary, and Pet Sematary really fucked me up when I was young because, again, like, little Gage is like the cutest kid that's ever been in a movie. And how he gets wrecked from that truck. And the way they shoot that scene where, like, the dad's almost able to get him and he trips, and then the truck hits... And the little fucking sneaker. Oh. It's so fucked up. But
another remake I'm really excited for. But
I didn't even see the trailer. I was like, whatever. But so the scene where they're picturing Zelda when the wife is talking about her sister, and she's like, "You'll never get out of bed again. Never get out of bed." And she'll run up to that little scene just stayed with me. Like that movie was kind of creepy in a fun way, but that scene haunted me. Like
that scene terrifies Tiffany, my fiance. You'll hear her name.
Really?
Terrifies her so much she won't watch Pet Sematary anymore.
Really?
That scene scares her that
fucking
much.
Creepy.
And I told her, I was like, when this remake comes out, we're gonna go watch it. And she was like, I'm not watching that, especially if that scene's in there. I was like, well, we'll never know if
It'll
that scene's in there.
probably be worse. Like not like worse is in more scary. It'll probably be dumb.
Oh man, I don't know. I'm hoping that it's fantastic, but I've only seen that movie once, and that's all I needed to see. Because doesn't little Gage have that scalpel in his hand?
Like he cuts him like right here in the Achilles tendon.
Ugh.
And they show it for like just long enough for you to go.
And that's another one of those scary movies that the premise on that is so fantastic. Like that idea is so good. Fucking King, man, like that. Yeah. Wow, like that. So good.
And it's funny because it's like some of the best things like in horror or any fiction would like pick you up and drop you emotionally, right? So that movie, like sometimes dead is better. Like that's a good sentiment, and it's about like acceptance, right? And then there's the scene in the movie where she goes, they're at the cemetery and the old man is talking to the little girl and he says, this is a place where the dead speak, and she freaks out and he goes, no, not out loud, but with their stone markers, they stone speak. She's like, this isn't a scary place, Ellie, this is a place of rest and speaking. And she's like, oh, okay, cool. And that when I was a kid was the perfect kind of palate cleanser to the horror of that movie. It was like, oh, this is a place of rest, this is where people rest now. Now you go to bed forever or whatever. I don't know, there's something peaceful about it.
It is really still a wonderful sentiment, like especially when you want to get into that mindset of like supernatural and stuff. Like, so it's like, no, this is a place of rest. It's like,
and as you get older, the like dead is better. It's like, sometimes it would be a metaphor for life, relationships or whatever. It's a job, sometimes leave it. There's no resuscitate. Like, I didn't even think about it. So just right now it's like hitting me, I'm such a fucking dummy that if you resurrect the past, it's just fucked up, terrible amalgamation and like poisoned version of what you had. Like, it's the thing, but it's not the thing. It's a worse version. So when you try and like relive a relationship, or you try and like talk to your old friends or whatever, like, let's go have like a guy's night or whatever, like with people that you've lost contact with.
It's
the fucking gauge of your friendship, it's
wow,
Pet Sematary.
Really, I never
Stephen King, man, right? Like, oh my god,
that was really deep. You just told the fucking world up.
Fucked me up just now too.
Holy shit,
we're the last two that I figured out.
Well, you are the end of the internet. So
we're at the end of the internet. Where we finally, the last two fucking idiots that figured out what Pet Sematary was really about.
Holy shit. Because Pet Sematary... Pet Sematary...
progress as human
wow, we have reached a whole new level of fucking enlightenment. I think I'm ready to fucking start teaching classes. That was pretty good. Pet Sematary is another one of them fantastic fucking stories. Like, we've seen Pet Sematary. We know what Pet Sematary is. And it's still one of those questions is like, if that was a thing, would you do it? Like, if you lost somebody, it's like, oh no, but you've seen Pet Sematary. It's like, yeah, but this isn't Pet Sematary. Like, would you? It's like, no, don't ever do that. Like,
even it's like, no, we're not talking about a movie. We're talking about real life. It's like, yeah, but if in real life, what happens at Pet Sematary would happen to you, would you still do it? It's like, well, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, because with a clear mind, it's like, no, absolutely not. But until you've lost somebody where you would like, I remember, not to get too fucking morbid or too real, but when my father passed away, I remember constantly saying like, this is a fucking joke. Like, this is a joke. Like, I was waiting for a doctor to come up and go, fucking psych, like, it's not real. To a point where I wasn't thinking, I was literally thinking that this was a fucking cruel joke. Like, someone like, don't fuck with me. Like, this is an elaborate joke. Like, why are we at the hospital? Like, this is ridiculous. When you start thinking that irrationally, that's what makes me go, oh yeah, I would go bury that motherfucker in Pet Sematary. You know what I mean? Like, no, don't do that. It's like, no, that's happening. Like, we're...
what I was just thinking about right now too, about like, so in Pet Sematary, they will, like, he buries his wife, right? And she comes back and he's just like so in love with her, and she's gonna kill him. What happens to them after that? Like, once the person that has buried their loved one, the loved one comes back and mangles and kills them, what then to the reanimated corpse?
Do they keep killing them?
Do they just keep living? Like,
that's
I don't know.
That's really good, because then it's like, Okay, so
or did they serve their purpose and they returned to the Earth?
But then what's the purpose?
Exactly. Yeah. Like.
Yeah.
What?
That's interesting. You just fucked that
Who
whole
did?
movie up.
Yeah. Now it's worthless.
But that's a really interesting thing because it's like, so let's say I died and you bury me in Pet Cemetery and then I come back and I kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Could I just go bury you and bring you back and then me and you're like tag team the world? We're gonna fucking kill everybody.
Then we're world's finest together.
Yeah, it's like
and
like we're not really zombies, but we are. And then what's the difference?
Yeah, and how much? Anyway. Okay, let's get back on topic. Like, how much do they think? Can they recognize that they've been buried and brought back? Is that why they're mad?
We're gonna spend a whole hour of breaking up.
They have the wherewithal. Like, I'm gonna bury you, motherfucker. Now you're gonna feel what I felt.
Now you with me.
And now we can live an undead life together. And
come here.
Like
wait,
they have
tragedy.
Like then they have like tragedy befall them, and okay.
Yeah, and then it's like. So is it like a Lazarus pit? Like if someone died?
It's like an opposite version of their life now, right? So they have this unlife.
They're bizarros?
Yeah. So the happy things happen, and it makes them go and like bury them in the pet cemetery.
Oh my god! Wow, we just realized the Pet Cemetery is fucking Return to Bizarro World.
To Stephen King's writing, right? Like, you think like why is there a whole shelf? Why is there a whole section of my store dedicated to this fucking dude? That's why.
Holy shit. Okay, so
after
let's
Pet
go
Cemetery,
ahead and leave Pet Cemetery.
What's that? Can you think of any like I remember seeing the trailer for Maniac Cop, and that unsettled me. I never watched the movie, but it was something.
I saw Maniac Cop.
Oh, did you? It's not scary. Okay.
I mean, I didn't think nothing of it, but I don't know.
It just seemed like one of those 80s.
It was.
Like 80s did an almost grindhouse type of movie genre. Like there were a period like in the
Critters
in the mid to late 80s and the early 90s that were kind of, grindhouse B horror films like Chopping Mall and Maniac Cop and what was that one? I Come in Peace and all sorts of random fucking movies.
Go in Pieces.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Along those lines,
yeah.
I'm trying to think of other things that maybe were there any other things that kind of like stuck out to you as
because I guess that's when you
in your
start getting
teens
more
or in your
into,
20s.
That's when you start getting into more like okay then
because I started talking about like Blair Witch. Like Blair Witch stayed with me and it always will, and it's something that I revere. And like you had mentioned, VHS is a great modern horror anthology. Well, the first one is damn good.
Yeah, I won't watch the other two because I've heard some bad things, so I don't even want
diminishing returns.
Yeah,
like,
I don't want
2 and 3 are terrible. Well, there's a couple of good ideas, but they're not very good.
Yeah, I'd rather just keep VHS on its pedestal and not ruin it with anything else.
Were there? Okay, here's a question for you. Were there any video games prior to Silent Hill that scared you?
Resident Evil?
Well, I guess not Resident Evil either. Prior to
Resident Evil. Nothing. There was nothing. Okay. Like, I mean, what?
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Slaughterhouse? Like, I couldn't get this scared of 8-bit 32. Slaughterhouse, Splatterhouse, Sega House, House of Sega.
Sega House.
No, I can't.
I'm trying to think if there's something like, because there were disgusting things in video games, but nothing.
But I can't even.
Well, I guess
disgusting.
Doom scared me.
Oh, that's a good one. Doom did scare me. I will never forget. I think it was either the second or third fucking building chapter, whatever you want to fucking call it, third level, where I remember. Because you remember how the game starts, like, the music, then you have your gun in your hand, you're ready to go, you're kind of a badass. There was one...
I'll never forget.
There was one section where the level started, and all you heard was the grunting and moaning of fucking monsters. Of fucking, the knights. That's all you heard. And then you couldn't see them, and that's all you heard with no music. And I remember freezing in place, not wanting to move forward because I was so fucking scared. And I remember looking like I kept flipping through my guns, and I was like, I don't want to go forward.
Yeah,
like this. I was.
There's some levels like 3 or 4. The first 3 or 4 levels of Doom where you go down some hallways and the lights are flickering, and you can hear the demons like, but you don't know exactly where they are.
Yeah.
And then when you eventually fight the Barons of Hell, as you get further into the game, and they're just the scariest fucking thing you ever seen.
Yeah, that's a good
and
one.
I think with Doom for me was probably the first-person shooter I ever played.
Me too.
So being that immersed in the experience was terrifying. because it wasn't like Wolfenstein. If I had started off with Wolfenstein, I'd have been acclimated to the gameplay, and I was killing Nazis, right? But in Doom, you're fighting demons from hell.
Yeah.
So that was one.
That's a fantastic one. That is a game that scared me before there was ever Resident Evil or Silent Hill. That is a really good one.
Did you ever play a game called D for the PlayStation 1?
No.
It was... I don't know what you would call it. You basically just move a character and make decisions and solve puzzles.
Like a point and click?
Sort of, I guess. But the D stands for, like, I think Dracula or something. And this woman is like a descendant, and you have to look in her little compact in her mirror for clues of where to go next in the house or whatever.
Interesting.
And each time you look, though, the mirror breaks. So you have X amount of clues before it breaks completely.
Oh.
So you have to solve to beat the game.
Shit.
That was
interesting.
Yeah, because like it's first person, and you take these very like stilted movements, and there's a voice that like calls out to your character Laura and stuff like that. That was unsettling. I played that before I played Resident Evil.
Interesting. No, I've never even heard of it. I know that the first Clock Tower was an old ass.
Did you play that?
No, I always saw the cover to it. I always thought it was cool, but I think it was a PC game, so obviously I never played that. But I didn't realize that was such an older game. Like I think I was introduced to Clock Tower by Clock Tower 3.
Yeah. I think I was introduced to it with like an EGM article or something about Electronic Gaming Monthly article about horror games and Clock Tower being what it was. I heard Night Trap was pretty terrifying for people who had played it on the Sega CD, but I never played it. I didn't know anybody who owned a copy of Night Trap.
So. Oh yeah. Anything I've ever heard of Night Trap has always been like this big laughable joke.
Really?
Yeah. How silly that game got, or that's the only thing I've ever heard of it.
What about like science fiction horror? I think the first Aliens movie that I saw from that franchise was Aliens, the sequel, and then I eventually saw Alien, and Alien is scary. I think that's a very good scary science fiction horror.
I think you were the one who told me, because I'm not this clever, but I think you were the one who told me when we first started talking about like aliens and stuff. I remember you had said something. I was like, you had said something along the lines of Aliens is a perfect slasher horror movie, just with an alien in space, and that Aliens is such a badass movie because it's kind of a evolution. It's like, okay, we're not in the slasher horror movie anymore. Now we're in the fucking attack, so it becomes an action. It's just an action movie with awesome, story. And I've always loved that. I think I always felt that way about certain things. Like, I think why Alien and Aliens were so fantastic is because they weren't like, it was a sequel, but it was also a progressed sequel. Like this first one, we never dealt with a xenomorph before, and it's just one. And we're not soldiers, so it becomes this like cat and mouse game, and it's like
the first one's about basically interstellar truckers,
like
oil workers or something.
And the second one being, like these fucking badass space marines. It's like, well, one ain't gonna cut it, so you have a fucking entire hive of them. And I thought that was fantastic.
And a queen. They introduced a queen, which is I think the brilliance of that from the get was that Cameron decided, he's like, I'm not going to try and do what Ridley Scott did. I'll make my own movie.
Yes.
Which was great. He didn't try to make it a horror movie. He was like, I want to make this an action movie.
Yeah, and going back to the whole point of our conversation of this topic of scary, Alien scared me. Alien really scared me.
Scary.
I'll never forget the scene with the chest burster. Like that, I had never seen anything really like that before, and there was something really perfect on how they captured that scene. And
it's such a great example of terror and horror, right? So terror is the feeling you get before something bad happens, and horror is the effect of seeing something horrible, right? So like you're just waiting for it to happen, and you're on the edge of your seat, and then you see this disgusting thing, and you're horrified.
Yeah.
It's
and then it screws off.
Yeah, that fucks it.
And it's like you almost have this weird like hindsight 2020 moment where we're like, oh, we could have stopped this if we just grabbed it, or put a bucket over it. Like,
it's like trying to step on a roach. It's like, just step on it.
Exactly. Or like, you see a spider on the wall and you try to kill it and then it disappears.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're gonna spend the rest of the evening not sleeping.
I'm dead. Yeah, that was for. I imagine that anybody who listened to this knows the movie Alien, but when Dallas is killed, that part was real scary to me. When I was, like, the two scariest moments in that movie for me is that when, you know, she's like, "Get out of there! It's right behind." She's like crying and shit, and Dallas like looks one way and turns the other way, and there's fucking, and then it just cuts, and they're like, "Oh, he's fucking dead." And then when I can't remember the name of the actor or the character, but he is letting like the water fall on his face, and all the chains are there, and the alien is just swinging in the chains, and you can kind of make it out, you kind of don't.
Yeah, and that was really
the alien comes and he kills his ass, and Jonesy is just watching. The cat is just watching as it happens, and it ends with the rattling of the chains. Oh god, that was really scary for me. Like,
yeah,
it was cool, but really scary.
Holy crap, that was really good. The part that always freaked me out was when you, and not necessarily think it's over, but when you realize that the alien is right across, and fucking Ripley has to like slowly get into the
so it's like thing. Jump scare and then horrifying, because like the hand comes out. Literally every time I'm trying to remember where it is. Every time I watch it. So the jump scare, right? And like you said, when she's slowly getting in, it just like opens its mouth and the little mouth comes out.
Yeah, almost like a sensory thing. Oh man, that's so cool. I love the way that alien moved. Like that little thing with the hand, or the way it just kind of moved. Like there was something so odd about its movement that I guess makes it alien-like. And I feel like other movies, obviously we're not going to talk about Aliens, because Aliens I think nailed it perfectly, because it was more of a hive on the attack. I felt like this one was just a singular alien. But after that, like, the other ones just didn't, I guess, it lost its appeal, the effect of it, you know, and especially when they started getting more into the CG stuff. But
yeah, the CG aliens really leave something to be desired.
Yeah, and it's so weird because it's such a great design. You would think that it would have this everlasting appeal.
Well, something I think that makes that alien work in the first Alien movie is how limited it is that you see it, right? Which is why Jaws works so well. Did Jaws scare you as a kid? Or as an adult?
As a kid, yes, because I never wanted to go into the water, just like its fucking tagline, never want to go in the water again, or whatever it was called. Like, yeah, that scared me, but in a weird way, it scared me in a different way.
Yeah, it wasn't...
It wasn't like... When people... like, for example, we're talking about these horror movies... Jaws popped into my head a couple times only because it's like, well, it's the right thing to do.
Right.
We can talk about Jaws.
Right, yeah,
know?
Eventually in this conversation, Jaws has to come up.
And it's like, and that's great, but...
It wasn't scary either.
Yeah.
Not like, it's not what we're talking about.
Yeah, and I think that's something you have to really kind of put in perspective. It's like, I don't watch Jaws in Halloween, you know what I mean, during Halloween week or anything like that. Like,
Jaws is another movie that I'll watch at least twice a year and enjoy the fuck out of it. I think Jaws is a fantastic movie, but I won't watch it in October.
Yeah, like it's a different kind of fear, and it's a great movie, but it's a different kind of fear, and it's sad that wasn't back in my head. It's like, okay, we gotta talk about Freddy, Jason. We eventually got to talk about Jaws, and the other part of my brain's kind of going like, no, I don't want to talk about.
Okay,
Jaws.
Just let's see if we can do this in a 5 to 10 minute little segment.
Okay.
Of like, what should we be talking about? I guess things that like we immediately thought of. Like I thought of Seven, but Seven isn't that scary anymore.
I guess
Seven is also tainted now.
Slasher movies. So of course, you know, Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, anything with supernatural.
I think like the Final Destination movies, Paranormal Activity, what's it called, the Conjuring universe.
Even Final Destination, I wouldn't like. I wouldn't personally want to talk about. I liked that first movie; it was all right, but it wasn't scary. It was just a cool. It's like, oh, this is dealing with something supernatural.
I remember watching the first Final Destination and just wanting it to be over.
Yeah, like
I'm done with this movie.
And I think it was again, it was one of those.
Creepers?
I can't stand that movie.
Yeah.
But it should, but technically should be in this conversation if we were fans of it.
I mean, I guess, yeah. But and even like the director and all that stuff, you know, we won't even touch about that.
Yeah.
But did you see anything maybe that like unsettled you psychologically as well that maybe you can think of, or just like strictly horror in general, like
what we saw as kids? Stuff?
Okay, that was one that I did want to bring up. So Silence of the Lambs. Since we're just talking about like moments, right? there are two moments, and they're really close to each other. Is when Hannibal escapes, when he's being transported.
The face.
Yeah. Okay. So when he like beats those cops to death, and he's like, "Ready when you are, Sergeant Pemberley," and it cuts right. Like that part is fine, but when they're trying to find them, right, and you can see the silhouette with the door shut of the cop that's strung up and his guts are hanging out, right? So you don't see it yet, but they're trying to get a hold of him. You hear the SWAT team and they're shouting and they're like Pembrey, like and Buller, like they call the two cops names, right? And the camera pulls back and you can just see the silhouette because the doors aren't open yet, right? And the way that the names echo is just so scary to me. It fucks me up. And then cut to when the guy's in the ambulance and he's saying the fucking music is swelling and the drums going boom, boom. And Hannibal comes into frame and he pulls the dude's face off and he's there. Oh my god, those two scenes really fucked me up.
So those two fantastic scenes.
Love Silence of the Lambs, though.
The third scene that actually scared me, that made me like the whole time watching it, I was kind of super tense. My fist like white knuckled, and I was just like, ugh. Is when Clarice is in the basement and the lights go out.
Oh, god.
And all you hear is a beep.
Yeah.
And like he can see her and she can't see him. Terrified me. Like I love that whole scene because this dude's he's playing with his food. Don't play with your food.
Knows better.
Oh my god, that one messed me up. But see, even then, and I know it's kind of off topic, but just as an aside, like when I think of like the horror stuff, Silence of the Lambs is one of those ones that like teeters on the. It's like I don't want to talk about Silence of the Lambs when I'm talking about horror movies and Freddy and Jason, but at the same time,
a thriller with some horror elements.
Yeah, right? but a lot of people, I feel a lot of people put it like, no, that's a horror movie. It's like it's not a horror movie. It's a thriller. It's not a horror movie, but. That movie is so good. It's like, oh, let's go ahead and dip our toe into the horror because there is something very horrific about it. Eating people and
I'm trying to think of things like before my opinion was so formed. Like when I had all these really detailed thoughts or hours spent digesting this shit back when I was younger, and I just had a reaction to something, and those are scenes from a movie that fucked me up.
Yeah.
Because my mom loves horror movies, so I've seen a lot of fucking.
And it's so funny because I used to think I loved horror movies, and there's a lot of horror movies I have not seen. But I feel like my problem, and you, as you get to know me, internet, you'll realize that I do have a lot of love for a lot of things, but I will beat those things into the ground and not experience a lot of new. So when it's like, oh, you love Night of the Living Dead? Yeah, I've seen it 100 times. Oh, did you see like what was it? The Day of the Living Dead? Like no.
Return of the Living
Dead.
Yeah,
those ones. I wasn't a big fan, even though I like the premise. I just that's not Night of the Living Dead. I want to see light. Dawn of the Dead is another fantastic one. Even though we've already covered the zombie stuff, but that one, I guess that one didn't scare me as much as like really like. Just made me uncomfortable, because especially when you introduce the remake one with the fast moving guys. But
do you have an introduction to like Japanese horror?
No, I've never really seen. I don't think I've ever seen a Japanese horror movie. I've only seen the American remakes, The Ring, which when I first saw it, I was like, "Holy shit, this is an amazing movie!" And I just recently saw it again. I was like, it's okay. It's not that great.
It's decent. It's not. It hasn't dropped so far in my esteem from rewatching it that I thought I would. But it's not great or anything.
Yeah. Visuals, like the way it was filmed is really like I like a lot of stuff they do. But
do you see The Grudge?
I've never seen The Grudge. I've never wanted to see The Grudge. I think it's a Sarah Michelle Gellar thing. That's her.
That's probably.
I see her and I just see Buffy, and and I feel bad, and that sucks because I hear good things about her, but every time I see her, I'm like, no, I don't want to watch your movies. Like you're Buffy, but no, I never. There was what was that one with the? There was one that y'all always talk about.
Asian horror.
Yeah,
because like you've seen A Tale of Two Sisters. Audition, which is a Takashi Miike film.
I've been wanting to see that.
I've seen multiple times, and the first time I watched it, I had a nightmare about it, and I hadn't had that in years. I was like 24 or 25, and I watched Audition, and I had a fucking nightmare about it. I'm trying to think. I've seen The Ring. I've seen The Grudge. I've seen this Japanese movie called Pulse that is sort of about the end of the world, about ghosts being captured on the internet. I don't know. It's interesting. I really like it. It really unsettles me. I just wonder if there's anything that you had seen that was...
No. I don't even know if it's a horror movie. I think it's a Japanese movie. I don't think it's Chinese or anything. I think it's a Japanese movie. The only thing I've ever seen that I don't even know if you could classify as a horror movie, I think it was like a Room Number or something like that, where it was these two women who were living together, and they're both actresses, and they're going for the same part, and like they're real friendly at first, and they're going for the same part, and they don't know who's gonna get it, so they're all like, "Oh, well, we're gonna call at 7 like tomorrow. We'll call you guys at 7 p.m. tomorrow to let you know." And it's just really like they're like at first they start kind of bickering with each other because like jealousy is starting to take over, and as none of them will leave. They won't leave because they want the phone, and the phone's in the middle of the room, so they start kind of like territorying themselves, and it's this slow like
they become unraveled.
They become so unraveled because this is like something that's going to make them.
Oh my god!
That it actually like it starts to get violent, and by the time you know it, like the battle lines are drawn, and they're just fucking like being awful to each other to a point where like the climax is like this just outright fucking vicious like battle between them, and I think they wind up killing each other, like if I'm not mistaken, or they beat each other to a pulp, like they fucked it, and then the phone rings, and they're like, I don't know, they're either dead or they're both like barely alive, and then the movie ends. Like it's one of those things where it's like,
I gotta see this.
Yeah, and I don't remember what the title is called, but I remember that movie stuck with me. I was like, holy
that sounds amazing.
That sounds cool.
I want to watch that.
I have to.
Anybody out there, if you know what he's talking about, I would love to see this fucking movie.
Yeah, and I hope I didn't get any of that wrong because it was years ago. But I remember watching that, going, "What are you watching?"
Like, it's weird that like A Tale of Two Sisters is something that comes up. I see it at work sometimes, and I remember loving that movie. But now, when like you ask me about it, I'm like, what was that movie about?
Nice. Even though I don't think it was supposed, I think it's supposed to be a dark comedy. Just real quick, going backwards. Another movie that actually fucked me up, especially when you talk about transformation scenes, American Werewolf in London.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
It's really good.
That transformation scene, like, scared me. Like, I remember thinking that was realistic. Like, not obviously supposed to be, but practical effects. But I remember, like, thinking as a kid, like, going, oh my god, did they capture somebody who's a werewolf? Like, is that a werewolf being transformed in front of my eyes? Like, it was so good. So that's another one. I just want to throw that one out there.
I think I was listening to a podcast, and they were interviewing Tom King, who's a comics writer, and he said something along the lines of, like, do you think that there are some stories or genres that were told so well that we can close the book on them?
Oh.
And it's hard to break away from the best, and I feel like that movie is almost the final word on werewolf movies, because there hasn't been anything that in most people's collective opinion has surpassed it, right? It's always like that one and then a whole bunch of like also rans. I can think of like a movie that has surpassed it where everyone's like, best werewolf movie, American Werewolf in London. Okay, well, what else? It turns into, well, what's the best werewolf movie? You mean besides American Werewolf in London? Well, then now we can talk. Like.
And I think, and I might be the only one on this one. I agree with that 100%. It should be American Werewolf in London, and then also rans. Right? But for me, it will always be Silver Bullet, and then American Werewolf in London.
I think like personal preference will always have a say, but I just
as a story,
it seems like universal. You know what I mean? Like most people seem to think that American Werewolf in London is the best werewolf movie, and then everything else is like, oh, I like The Howling.
And it's a dark comedy.
Yeah. Like
it's so weird.
And it's a good movie. It's just a good fucking movie. I guess that maybe that's it. That it's a good movie first, and then a werewolf movie second.
Yeah,
but
probably.
I don't know.
The movie, real quick, is called 2LDK, 2003 Japanese movie. Two actresses who have auditioned for one part, sharing the same apartment with opposite personalities, equals a night which neither will forget if they survive. You need to write that down. It's a great movie.
That's crazy. 2003. I am going to watch the shit out of that movie.
But yeah. So when it comes to the werewolf stuff, I had one in my head that I wanted to share. Another movie that I was like, holy shit, that scared me. Fuck. I just forgot.
Sorry.
It. No. That's me. I was looking for the...
The Descent was a more recent movie that I really enjoyed that was scary. I think it captured the feeling of claustrophobia really well and not being able to trust the people that you have to maintain friendships with. The subtle background of that story is that one of the friends is sleeping with one of the other friends' boyfriend or something, or husband or fiance. And so it's like you have to maintain these friendships for social norms, and then your life is on the line and you're with people you can't trust, and you know, when the beast comes out and survival kicks in.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It was just super interesting. And some good special effects, and it was scary, and it was hard to catch your breath. I really like The Descent. I think it's a fantastic
I need to see that because I've never seen it.
You've never seen The Descent?
I've never seen it.
Oh, shit. Would you just let me go on like an asshole?
Because
it's so good. I wouldn't... Damn it.
I still want to see it.
You should watch it. You should totally watch it.
And I mean, I wanted to try to avoid it as much as I could, to see if we could sneak some more in there, so if we have to go back, we go back. But the only other thing I can start thinking about that was actually terrified me, especially as an adult, was Blair Witch. Getting to Blair Witch now. Blair Witch scared me, and I thought it was so awesome, and I think that's another one of those things where I feel it doesn't...
2LDK has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
There you go. It's a movie that I feel was so good and very underrated.
Yes.
That
even though it was like a kind of a cultural phenomenon for a period of time, it's still underrated.
I also feel it ruined that genre. It's like, oh, we're one of the first. They weren't. I don't know if they were the
I don't believe they were the first, but
they were one of the first main. Like, oh no, we did this.
The first big hit.
Yeah, and I feel like they also screwed that genre because it's like anytime I see shaky cam or caught on camera,
found footage.
We're trying to be realistic. I will always know that it's not, because when I watched Blair Witch and they were really pushing their promotions and they were making it seem like this was real, I went into that theater thinking that this was straight up found footage, and that also helped because it fucked me up. And I was like, how are we not investigating this forest and sending SWAT
Let's find these people?
There's just so many things that build up in that movie that just raise that suspense and that scariness. And I don't know about you, but the scariest part of that movie for me that literally like made me like shake in my chair and I kind of jumped was when they're in the tent and the fucking like hands start hitting the tent from the outside and they just fucking book it out of the tent, because that felt so real. Because I think I would do the same thing if there were 100 baby hands hitting my fucking tent. I think I would be like, I'm out of here. I'm just gonna book it. Like,
one thing I really liked about that scene is right after they run out, as they're running, one of them notices something hanging, and she goes, "Oh, what's that?" And she says that like terrified and screaming, and it's just out of frame, but you can almost see there is something there that she notices, and that I just got chills thinking about that scene.
That was
really
good. That was really good.
I really, really loved the Blair Witch, and I may have to cut in the conversation that we had earlier into this section of the podcast just so that so I don't have to like retread what I said about the Blair Witch. I might just like cut it in here, but there's a lot to that movie that I still hold very close to my heart. I think it's very scary. I love that the tale of how the killer would kill the kids comes back, and the beautiful direction of that, how you get the amount of time that it takes for you to realize and recognize what you're looking at, for your brain to recall that bit of the story, for all the horror to hit you at once, and then the movie ends. It's such, like, the timing is perfect. It's like they understood human memory recall. It's just the right amount of time.
There's also, I think, another thing that's so fantastic about that movie that really ups the... And I feel that Blair Witch Project is one of those movies that you can really gauge personalities and imagination to where it's like, oh, we vibe. Me and you are gonna be best friends for the rest of our lives. Or it's like, oh, okay, well, we're not gonna be so close. I can't trust you. But like, one of the things about Blair Witch that really gets me, even though there was obviously a supernatural element to it, and they weren't really like pulling their punches with it, I love that, like, every morning they woke up, there was always something different, like the little pile of rocks or...
Yeah, there's something a little different.
Yeah, those little things, like, in the movie, you know, they're freaking out about it. And you know that they weren't there earlier, and you know that they're kind of, like, tripping on it and this and that. But the thing that gets me, it always makes me feel like when you're looking for something... You'll find it, like, you know, like ghost hunters. Like, well, if you're really looking hard enough, you're gonna find it. And it's like, it's such a, like, okay, you're, you know, oh, I knocked over my fucking straw, you know, that's a ghost, you know, like that stupid thing, right? But in that case, no, there was something fucking with you. There's a ghost there. But I like the idea that, psychologically, you're magnified even more because it's like, that's a pile of rocks, you know, like... It's just
you're already primed for.
It's so creepy, and then that scene where I think one of the guys first disappear, like she finds like I don't know if it's cloth or
like a piece of his shirt. Or something.
And she opens it up, and she freaks out whatever's in there, and you get a glance, but you never really see what's in there. It almost looks like maybe there was teeth and hair in it.
Like, there's like it looks like a chunk of something biological.
Yeah, you know? And she kind of looks at it, but we don't really get to see it, and she flips out, and I think that's perfect because it could have easily been the camera like zoomed in, there's like an eyeball or something,
and it could have like blinked at you or something fucking dumb.
Yeah, and they didn't do that, and I love that. I love that when horror really doesn't show it all.
The best things about horror is when they leave it up to your imagination to fill in the blank. And you're always going to come up with the creepiest shit for yourself than anyone ever could.
Yes.
Another thing I really liked about Blair Witch is that Blair Witch was like a lot of the stories that we tell each other, in that the stories about the Blair Witch and also about a child killer. So if these two stories are converging, and maybe they're one and the same, maybe one is all myth, and maybe it was just a killer, maybe it's just a crazy person, you know?
Yeah.
But that it's both of them combined. It's like these two versions of evil coming together, and these poor unfortunate kids decided to fucking find it, you know?
Yeah. That's awesome.
I really like, you know, and like you ever hear a ghost story or something, and then it's like, oh, there's also like an actual murderer who was like that, and oh, okay, that makes more sense. I understand where the legend comes from. That's how that works.
Yeah, I've always adored things like that. Getting into the more modern after Blair Witch, I can't really think of a ton of stuff. I mean, I'm
there's
sure
things here and there.
Kick around, but can't really think of anything that was like.
Just like I said, The Descent was really good. A modern horror movie that I thought was solid. I think It is a well-made movie. It's too entertaining though. I don't think it is scary at all.
Yeah.
And Quiet Place, I have problems with some of The Quiet Place, but it's stylish. It's well done.
Yeah.
It's not very scary. I haven't watched Hereditary though. I hear that movie is
that's
fucking scary.
I want as we get closer to Halloween, that is on my to-do list. We saw It Comes at Night.
Oh, was it any good?
I liked it, but I feel like I need to watch it again to give you a no. Here's my seal of approval, because I dug what I was watching, but honestly, right now I can't really tell you a whole lot because I can't remember it. So I think I need to rewatch that movie. I remember when the movie was over, I kind of feel like I had a sense of like I needed to make an argument for it. And no, it's good. And that's usually not a good sign. But I need to rewatch it. It wasn't a bad movie by any means. It was not a bad movie, but I think I need to rewatch it. The Witch. I don't know.
The Witch. Okay, there's one that I really enjoyed. That
one creeped me out from beginning to end. Like that's a movie that I can just watch, and it's so creepy. I feel like that should be a movie that's conversated about, and when you're talking about horror moments and stuff like that.
That movie gets what I've heard a lot, like at work and with other people, is that that movie took itself too seriously. That movie is too up its own ass.
What?
It's just because like the setting or like the language that they used and stuff, that it was too slow and that the ending was dumb. I think it's kind
wonderful.
It happened much faster than what it reminds me of what happened with Inception, where Inception was everyone's favorite movie for like 2 or 3 months, and then there was this huge backlash of like it's too smart, it's trying too hard to be smart and complex. Fuck that movie, which was kind of weird to see. And I think The Witch got distilled down to like a week or something, where I think the Witch isn't a perfect movie or anything, but I think it's unsettling because you're with a family and they are speaking almost a foreign language. You know, it's a very different dialect, and
I love that.
The ending,
fantastic.
yeah. I think a lot of movies now, it's like, it was, the chauffeur in the kitchen with the candlestick. Like, I like that this is like, no, Black Phillip is the fucking devil.
Yeah.
I loved that. And she joins the coven. You know what I mean? And she ascends. Like, I think it's awesome.
Yeah, like, I've never heard any of those things.
Oh, really?
I'm glad I haven't, because anyone who thinks of the witch is full of shit or thinks too highly of itself or whatever.
Well, to each their own, but that's surprising to me.
That is very surprising to me, because I think that movie, and I love the way they talk, because I feel like I feel like I've stepped into a time machine.
It is more like engrossing with that, it's like you feel that world and it feels uncomfortable and sooty.
Yeah. Like I felt, as we live in South Texas, internet, and our weather is so fluctuates from, hot, extreme hots and humidity and just horrible. But when I watch that movie, I feel humid. I feel sweaty under my underarms, and I feel gross. And I'm like in a perfectly air-conditioned room, but I love that movie. It's so good. But yes, that movie creeps me out from beginning to end. Mm-hmm. And the payoff at the end when Black Phillip is actually there and like talking to her, and the way he's it's just...
And it's like, as she's leaving, if I'm remembering this correctly, I think I've only seen The Witch twice, but like as she's about to leave, Black Phillip speaks. And that's when you're like, oh, Black Phillip isn't anything. She's just going crazy.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, she's not crazy. I'm not crazy. It's the devil.
Yeah.
I loved that so much.
Actual devil.
Yeah.
That's so good.
I forgot how much I really enjoyed The Witch.
Yeah. The Conjuring movies, I don't think I've seen the first one.
I've never watched any of them.
I've seen the second one. The second one's alright. I've never seen the third one. Oh, wait, is it The Conjuring or... Which is the one with like Annabelle and all that?
This Conjuring universe. Yeah, it's like Conjuring 1, 2, Annabelle Creations, and now The Nun.
When they whatever, I think it's the second Conjuring, when they introduced, or I don't even know if they introduced, but with the nun, and they go visit the family in England, and the little girl is possessed. That one creeped me out a couple of times. Yeah, that one was good. The first one I have no interest in watching, and the third one didn't look that great.
The first one was the best one. So,
really?
Yeah, The Conjuring.
Well,
yeah,
it's really good. Because I really like the second one.
Did you?
Don't get me wrong. There's one part where it's very poltergeisty, and when I say that, I'm like, growing up, I loved the poltergeist, and in my 20s, I still had a thing about the poltergeist. But seeing the poltergeist like just recently, I was like, wow, why did I watch this fucking piece of crap movie? Like, this movie sucks. But there's still a little. I still have a little thing about it. But anyways, there is a scene in that movie where it gets a little poltergeisty. This character from a nursery rhyme comes to life, and it's creepy, but it's also really goofy. It's like, oh, you kind of took me out of this idea that this is a haunted house scenario thing. But
The Babadook, it's a movie that's interesting and scary, but is an obvious metaphor. And I really enjoyed it. I'm trying to think of what else that's come out. I'm not really a fan of the Hostel movies.
Never seen them. Never wanted to.
Jacob's Ladder was something that was really damn good.
Yeah,
but I saw it too late in life. Like I'd seen its presence in so many other things that I was like, oh man, I wish I'd seen this first.
Yeah.
This movie would have fucked me up.
And I wonder if we would have seen Jacob's Ladders first before playing stuff like Silent Hill or watching other medias and what they tapped into. I wonder how that would have changed how we saw those things.
Yeah, I wonder if I would have liked Silent Hill as much.
Yeah.
If I had seen Jacob's Ladder first.
Yeah.
Or any number of things. I remember being really disturbed of watching the, was it Closer? The video, the Nine Inch Nails song.
Oh yeah,
that video.
Yeah.
That video fucked me up. That was another thing that like
Tool's videos with the claymation,
the stop motion,
and, like, the shakiness. And... Okay, speaking of stuff, horror moments, things that scared you.
Okay,
that's not a movie.
Uh-huh.
The music video to Marilyn Manson's fucking Sweet Dreams.
Really?
Creeped me out to a point where I couldn't watch it at night.
Really?
Yes. I don't know. You know why? Because I felt like I was watching something bad.
Something naughty?
Yeah. Because they always played it late at night.
Yeah.
And I was always by myself in my room, and when it would come on, I'd be like, yeah, I love this song. And then the music video, and I was like, and then of course, people were like, oh, he's a Satan worshiper.
Right.
So I would always feel like I was being like, oh, he's trying to rule me.
Yeah.
He's fucking satanicness. So that music video scared the shit out of me. It would make me uneasy, and I sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes I couldn't finish the music video. I'd have to change it. I'd switch it to BET. I shit you not. So yeah.
Okay, so as a little kid, right, I remember watching Thriller, and there were chunks of Thriller that really, when I say Thriller, I'm talking about the Michael Jackson music video, that some of the zombie stuff scared me. The werewolf stuff I thought was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, that part I thought was so cool. I thought werewolves were so cool. But some of the zombie stuff kind of fucked with me.
For
and
sure.
I always had to make it through that video so that I could get to the end and the zombies are dancing. Yeah. And once the last three are like dancing together, it looks like it's headless. Yeah. But then it starts dancing. It's like, okay, cool. We're in a music video, and I was able to relax. But
yeah,
it was still
100% because I would start that and I would get so scared, and I had to get to the zombies dancing because I was like, okay, the zombies dance. They're not evil. Like
okay. It's like they're not evil. Evil doesn't dance.
Yeah.
Which is so not true, like, at all.
Because even when he gets to the house and the zombies are coming in, or she does, excuse me, and the zombies are there, like, that still scared me. And then she would wake up and he's like,
what's the problem?
Like, oh
Come
my
on,
God.
I'll take you home. Which kind of, like, as a kid, I started like, whose house is she in? Like,
right?
Like, where did she go? No, Marilyn Manson for me was just always someone I thought was ridiculous, and I could just never be afraid of him. Like, really? I just thought
I wasn't afraid of
the
him.
most like contrived, stupid idiot I'd ever seen.
Because he had one like weird contact and one weird contact, and he had angel wings on, and he had like open leather boots, but he was in like a diaper, and he had like cuts on him. He just fucking creeped me out. He was like the epitome of like, oh, that is a fucking demonic.
See, and it's like for me seeing like him next to Trent Reznor in that Closer video, like, he was just a guy that was fine around all this weird shit, and that unsettled me more than like another weirdo. Like, look at my weird.
But see, I don't think I was ever really exposed to that, and I think that's why it creeped me out because I'd never really seen
that the video in Closer. Like, I think if I remember correctly, it's like a pig's head that's being whirled around. It's why though? It's so disturbing.
There's like yarn,
do not like
nails and crosses, and I think at one point he's kind of like spinning in place.
Yeah, he's like like spinning around
in this weird position, and he's spinning, and he has like X-ray goggles on. He's just fucking weird.
The wind is like blowing in his face.
Yeah.
The frame burns up.
Yeah, they have fucking great.
Right, what a great video.
What a great video.
I'm trying to think if there are other music videos that kind of mess with me. I remember enjoying music videos, but not a whole lot of them creeped me out.
I think it was just that one. Because I love the Tool videos. Every time Tool came on, I was like, holy shit. I was like, what's going on, little claymation?
Did you watch The Strangers? The Strangers was an unsettling movie.
Strangers is very unsettling. But then you start getting into stuff like that possibly could happen or whatever. Yeah. Because it's horror, but it's more like The Purge. It was like Purge was good and it gave me some thrills, but it wasn't.
Honestly, I think the problem with The Purge is that it's such an interesting idea that you can't stop thinking about it, and not in the like, oh, I'm gonna fall asleep and he's gonna come and get me, but in the what's the world like? Yeah, what is this world like? Does do Walmart employees have the purge off? Like, they probably have to work during the purge, and like the whole economy becomes based around purge. You know what I mean? Like, it's asked so many questions that's fun to speculate, but it takes away the scary.
We need to put a pin on this. I think that could be a whole podcast.
What?
Of breaking down the purge, because I have questions. I have questions. I have comments. I have things I want to know about the purge.
Our friend Joe, who helped us with, we fell down this rabbit hole. Like, what is society like then? What does the purge do to the world? What does it do to retail? What does it do to like the working man? And all? It was
at what
stupid. At
what point do you like any little thing is like, oh, you're gonna die, motherfucker?
Like, just wait until purge night.
Yeah, it's like I would have to move. Oh, that's horrible.
It's such a weird kind of like.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, I can't think of anything else too much. that was just terrifying. And I know there's probably something that tripped me out or scared me. I'm trying to think of stuff I watched in theaters recently, but no, I can't think of anything else.
Yeah, I think those are the main things that I can remember as far as like horror goes. Stuff that was made to scare me.
Yeah.
You know,
I just think it sucks that I don't know if it's because we're getting older or maybe these things are changing so much that horror is. I feel that there's a lot of strong attempts at horror, and then there's been some homers, some good ones. Like you said, it was very entertaining. I'm actually really excited for the remake of Pet Sematary, the Halloween, the new Halloween sequel thing. These are all exciting for me, but there's also been a lot of like The Forest. Did you ever see The Forest?
No,
it was awful.
That sounds terrible.
Oh, it was bad.
But I mean, like even when we were young, so that's the thing that makes me think that maybe it's not just us. Is that there's like, did you see The Darkness with Anna Paquin? It's like the most boring, scary movie ever. It's just fucking dumb and boring. And then like, what was that one with Nicole Kidman? The Others.
I heard that one was interesting.
It has a cool twist,
but it's not.
That's one of two movies I fell asleep at the theater watching.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the other one was The Chamber of Secrets, the second Harry Potter movie.
Oh, wow.
That means, like, I feel like there were bad horror movies when we were kids, too. But now we're older, and there are things that matter more to us. So something like The Babadook would be infinitely more terrifying to me than something like The Conjuring, you know. Wreck, and Exorcism of Emily Rose. Both of those are good movies.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Okay, so I thought we were going to start wrapping up, but no. So Exorcism of Emily Rose is fucking terrifying. That movie scared me. I don't know if you've ever seen it, and I don't know if you're going to agree with me, but another movie that I really tripped me out and kind of creeped me out, and now I just love watching it, is The Right with Anthony Hopkins.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Dude, I like that movie. That is another one of those, like, if
Prophecy.
There you go.
We're already past 2 hours.
Oh my God. So, oh my God. The Right. I would like to know what you thought about it.
Okay.
If you ever get a chance to, yeah, it's for sure on Netflix. I mean, fucking, there are ways to watch that motherfucking movie. I think it's a really interesting movie. I'm almost terrified to think what you think of it, because if you come back, it's like, oh, that movie's dog shit. It's gonna break my heart a little bit, but I'm willing to take that chance because I really dig that movie. That's a movie that matter of fact, I might fucking watch tomorrow.
Not tonight. You're like, I'll watch it tomorrow.
And then Prophecy is another really good one. It didn't really scare me though, so
okay.
But like you said, nothing terrifying about it. But that movie's just fantastic. I love that movie. Fucking you! When you said Prophecy, you reminded me of another one. Son of a bitch.
Yeah, I remember Exorcism of Emily Rose was really, really
we just
unsettling.
Watched that a couple of days ago.
And with the same actress, Wreck, which is the American remake.
Quarantine.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Quarantine
is the American remake of Wreck.
Yes, that's a good one.
And that's a damn good movie.
And I've never seen Wreck, but I've seen Quarantine, and I love Quarantine. Same actress and Emily Rose.
I think you were the one that introduced me to Quarantine.
Yes.
You let me borrow it.
Yes. That movie is really good. Very creepy ending. Holy crap. That's where we were discussing on like American Werewolf in London being kind of like, oh, that's everything you have to say about werewolf movies, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like you start getting into that with zombie movies, and then a movie like Quarantine comes around, and you're like, oh shit, you can continue making interesting ass zombie movies if you just continue with that. Like 28 Days Later, Quarantine, like they continue to improve on those, those stories and situations, and that's fantastic. That makes me happy. But when you said Emily Rose, and then we're talking about Quarantine, there was another one I was gonna fucking say. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, it's 1:00 in the morning, so my brain is not as sharp. But oh my God, there was one more, and it's so good, and I can't think of it.
I'm trying to think of something that I can talk about to stall still. Because like about to wrap this up.
Oh my God, there was one more, and I can't think of it, and I'm gonna probably text you in like an hour.
Was it Little Monsters?
Horrifying. Absolutely. Drop Dead Fred. She's talking to herself.
Dude, Drop Dead Fred is hard as fuck to find. Now, like whenever
it's on my fire stick.
But like the hard copy, we sell it for like $20 or something. Like
really?
Yeah, it's
Jesus Christ.
It's
Who's buying Drop Dead Fred for $20?
People who like that movie. Yeah, collectors are weird.
That is true. Oh my god, I can't remember, so we're just gonna skip that. Fuck, I'm so mad. Huh? What? Quoi?
Well, yeah, those are the things that I think really, when I think of horror, I think of those moments, that media, those movies, those shows, those themes and songs and intros and games and all of that mixed together informs what kind of scares me or what I can remember scared me.
Yeah.
You know? And now we do have different worries and concerns in our day-to-day, and look out the window and everything is not sunny, but it's still fun to get your fright on every so often. And in the month of October, I think it's good to reflect on that.
Absolutely.
I think we'd like to have fun doing that.
I think that going down the path of remembering all these wonderful memories and these older movies, especially in these kind of times, it's nice because it's like I rather have my fucking hair on the back of my neck stand up in some supernatural ghost story or monsters and this and that than realizing what the world we live in today. So,
yeah,
it's
another great form of escapism. It's a way to kind of get lost in something instead of it being a love story or the future. This is scaring the shit out of me. I cannot think straight. I cannot think about anything around me. I cannot think about my responsibilities or the state of the world because this movie is scaring the fuck out of me.
So on that note, to finish this off, okay. I have a question.
Yes, sir.
What genre, and obviously sticking within horror, of course, if you could guarantee that the next movie was going to be fantastic, what would you want it to be on? Would you want it to be a zombie flick, a vampire flick, demons, exorcisms, slasher, sci-fi? If you knew that the next movie that was coming out was going to be, dude, this is going to be like the apex of horror, which one would you want? Werewolf?
Ooh, just because I want to see it. I want to see something good and new and just anything. Like, I feel like every so often, and maybe, like, there's a lot of people that say there's no bad ideas, just, like, bad creators, which I do think is kind of horseshit.
I think it's 50-50 sometimes.
But, like zombies every so often will get reinvented. They'll be, for every boring, terrible Walking Dead episode, there's a Shaun of the Dead. There's a Day of the Dead remake. There is 28 Days Later.
Quarantine.
Fucking love 28 Days Later. I think it's a fantastic movie.
Almost perfect.
And same with vampires. There's like True Blood that was really important to a lot of people for a long period of time. There was Twilight that was super important to a lot of people for a long period of time. There's What We Do in the Shadows, which is fantastic vampire movie, but werewolves kind of get lost. The last thing I can think of is Dog Soldiers, and that's, I don't know how long ago now, but I would love to see, like, if I knew for sure, like, this is a winner, yeah, fucking a werewolf movie. What about you?
So for me, to finish this off, my first answer was going to be another like possession, exorcist kind of movie, something demonic, priest, Catholicism, all that stuff. I love that shit always gets me. But my thing is this: if we're talking about scary movie, like this next movie is going to scare me. Mm-hmm. I'd like to see a vampire movie. You just named all these movies, but none of those are scary. Twilight reinvented it to this tween romance crap. I mean, even stuff like the movies that I like even like Interview with the Vampire or stuff like that, they're not scary. I would like to see a scary, like, holy shit.
Have you ever seen Only Lovers Left Alive?
Mm-mm.
That's a good vampire movie, but it's not scary.
Yeah. So my first instinct was to go to the religious, exorcist, demonic stuff, because that shit always gets me. But I'm like, well, that's almost easy for me. Like, you can almost, even that one movie, Deliver Us from Evil, which is not that great of a movie, I still enjoy watching just because it still taps into those things. Yeah. So we were going to end this with a guaranteed to scare you movie. I want to see a vampire,
like a scary fucking vampire movie.
How would you do that? How would that happen? That I want to see. That would be fantastic. But then werewolves right behind it, because I'm a werewolf guy. Let's go ahead and get that one thing straight, internet. Fuck vampires, werewolves for life. But because I don't think it could happen, I would like to see a horrifying vampire.
The last vampire. I guess the last two things I can think of that were borderline horrifying as far as vampires are concerned were the main antagonist from the second Blade movie,
Mm-hmm.
he was like a vampire that hunted vampires.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
unsettling and kind of scary, even though it was an action comic movie.
Yeah.
And then VHS. That
Yeah.
one story in VHS was
Yeah, that was cool.
like, okay, that's a scary vampire, But yeah, so on that note, my name is Gonzalo, and
I am Marcus.
you've reached the end of the internet. And this is the end of the podcast. Have a good night, guys.
Have a good night.